Good morning. A very warm welcome to the Economy Drivers webinar by BW Business World and CFO World. Today, as we gather to celebrate Chartered Accountants Day, a day dedicated to recognizing the immense contributions and critical roles that chartered accountants play in our economy and society, I'd like to begin by a very special message from our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi. He writes on Twitter, Happy Chartered Accountants Day. CS play a vital role in shaping our economic landscape. Their expertise and strategic insights are beneficial for businesses and individuals alike. They also contribute significantly to economic growth and stability. They are equally integral to our financial well being. Chartered accountants are unsung heroes behind the scenes, ensuring financial stability, navigating the complexities of global markets, and upholding the highest standards of integrity and transparency. Their expertise and dedication form the backbone of our financial systems, driving growth, fostering innovation, and building investor confidence. Our theme for today is CA's growing role in driving stability, global navigation, and investor confidence that reflects the expanding influence and significance of the CA profession. As we navigate through an increasingly complex and interconnected global economy, the role of CAs have never been more crucial. In this webinar, we have gathered some of the brightest minds and most esteemed leaders in the field to share their insights, experiences, and vision for the future. We will explore how CAs are adapting to the digital age, leveraging new tools and technologies, and are preparing to meet the challenges and opportunities of tomorrow. Before we begin, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Priyanshi Khandelwal. I work for BW Business World. I will be your host for today's event, guiding you through our program and ensuring we have a seamless and engaging experience. As we embark on this journey of knowledge and discovery, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all our speakers and participants for joining us today. Starting this event, I am pleased to introduce Dr. Anurag Batra, Chairman, Editor-in-Chief of BW Business World, founder of Exchange for Media, for the opening address.
Thank you, Priyanshi. You'll have to allow me to be on the video. You'll have to allow me to enable my video.
Sir, I have.
Good morning. Thank you, Priyanshi, for putting this together. Today is the CA Day. As Priyanshi rightly said, CAs are the backbone of the economy. They work with companies, with individuals, with entrepreneurs to be able to not just do, tax filings, but are strategic advisors to entrepreneurs. They are doing risk management, risk advisory. CAs are involved in mergers and acquisitions. CAs are involved in investments. CAs are contributing by making sure there is prudent financial planning. Compliance is a very important aspect in today's business. The right compliance makes sure that the base for the company is right to grow. So today at BW Business World, we salute these leaders, these advisors, these chartered accountants, CA firms that are really working with entrepreneurs, firms, institutions to be able to make sure that they're compliant, that they're futuristic, and more importantly, they make the right strategic decisions when it comes to finance and strategy. CAs are strategy advisors. They're not just financial planners for the clients. With this, I wish all the leaders that are part of this webinar all the best, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the proceedings of the day. We have Mr. S. Ravi, who's the managing partner of Ravi Rajan and Associates. He's the former chairman of the Bombay Stock Exchange. He's the chairman of the Tourism Finance Corporation of India. He's a leading advisor to many entrepreneurs. And he'll be talking to us about the role of CA and how the CA firms are evolving, how the CAs are evolving. our senior editor, Mr. Arjun Yadav, talks to him. So over to you, Priyanshi. All the best. We look forward to celebrating this year, this day every year in a big way. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, sir. As Dr. Batra rightly said, next we have our headline address, CAs as the sages of the economic world. This session features Sethu Ratnam Ravi sir, former chairman of the Bombay Stock Exchange and founder and managing partner of Ravi Ranjan and Company, in conversation with Arjun Yadav, senior correspondent at BW Business World.
Hello and welcome. July 1 is an important date in India's economic and financial landscape. It marks the foundation of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and hence celebrated as Chartered Accountants Day. And also 7 years back, the goods and services tax regime came into effect on this very date. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, while addressing chartered accountants in 2017, drew a very interesting parallel. He said that when we talk about dharma and moksha, we come across the images of saints and monks. Similarly, when we talk about artha, finances, accounts, it is the chartered accountants that comes to our mind, almost as the sages of the economic world. On this special day, I have with me Dr. Sethu Ratnam Ravi, who is joining us for this very special conversation. Dr. Ravi is the managing partner and founder of Ravi Ranjan and Company and the former chairman of the Bombay Stock Exchange. He's also on the board of 45 different companies, including the likes of IDBI Bank, LIC, ONGC, BHEL, etc. Dr. Ravi, thank you so much for your time this morning. As I precisely mentioned about how the parallel that was drew by the Prime Minister back in 2017, and today as we have this government formed, in fact, even before the election campaign was announced or the election schedule was announced, the vision that Prime Minister laid out for his third term was taking India to the third largest economy in the world. Given all of this, my very first question to you is, and on this special day, how are you envisioning the role of chartered accountants and auditors in driving that trajectory for the Indian economy as envisioned by this government?
So, first of all, thank you for calling me and having me interact with you. My first thought is that the chartered accountants are the heart of the whole body. It is like the heart of the whole body. They are the people who drive the economy in a way. They are the people who are the conscience keeper in a way. They are the people who look at books. They are the people who are making financial planning. They are the people who file returns. They are the people who ensure compliance. And many of them are in various fields, including heading banks. Some of them are in the political system. Some of them are even in the film industry. Some of them are industrialists. So if you see the even 4 odd lakh chartered accountants, if you see if in a big population like this, what role they are playing, and I think it's a very privileged community, and that is what I feel about the chartered accountant, and they have a lot of role to play. They have a huge role to play in the Indian economy.
Right. So given the dynamism, sir, that the Indian economy is witnessing and which we touched upon, how have you seen the role evolved, be it advising in mergers and acquisitions or, advisory to entrepreneur, new age startups? How has that role evolved?
So when we started the profession way back, it was like audit and only filing income tax returns. Now there are multiple disciplines within it. It can be forensic audit, it can be insolvency professional, it can be even a consultant who is working with GST. There can be people who actually are policy makers, and there are many policy makers and those who also make business models for the company, those who are heading companies to actually make up the whole space. And in the startup space, right from the initiation of a startup company to actually finding its business model and achieving the profitability, the chartered accountants are playing a very integral role. And there I know a lot of chartered accountants who are only focusing on this startup space.
Okay.
And it's tough because the startups can't pay too much. But on the other hand, the chartered accountants have to deliver a lot.
Right.
So I think they are that way helping a lot of startups to actually create value.
This is one of those sectors of the economy, where we look at, sir, where there's a lot of regulatory and compliances, right? Month by month we are having record GST collections, and the government crediting better compliance on this, to justify those collections. How is the industry navigating the ever-changing regulatory and compliance environment?
So when I started the profession, we had a certain bit of acts, rules, regulation. Now any chartered accountant has to grapple with a lot of regulatory changes, statutory changes, regulations which are coming. Let us take in GST. There are interpretation issues. There are issues of where there are divided opinions on a particular thing, and to ensure compliance and to see that the department is agreeing to that compliance is a big task by itself, because as you stated, 2017 to now, it's not been a very long journey for even GST. So if even the department is trying to learn about it. The GST Council is also providing a lot of new regulations, and they're also evolving. For example, there is a lot of issue about criminalization. So there are issues around that. But what is happening is the GST Council is being proactive. It is taking measures, and what is happening with the result. There are new provisions that are getting added, and new rules are coming in. So one has to be on the top of all the rules, and it's a fast changing lane. Actually, it's a very fast changing lane.
Very rightly put, sir, that being on top of the rules, but at the same time I also want to touch upon the part of ethical aspects. The address that I mentioned of the Prime Minister, in that he also mentioned that it is the responsibilities of the CAs and auditors to guide their clients towards a righteous and conductful path. In this context, how do you see the ethical standards evolving, the ICAI's ethical code of conduct, to ensure that?
So there has been a lot of talk about ethics, and ethics is as good as the society is.
Right.
Let me be very frank here. And what I am seeing, at least what is happening now, is because of the rules, regulations, then Ind AS, all this coming in,
Right.
there is a very there is no room for discretion. Actually, if you look at the previous about 20 years back, the rules and regulations and the standards left a lot of gap. And now all these gaps have been fulfilled. That means all the rules are boxed in a way, and that makes the ethics very high, and there is no room for non-ethical practices. Some people do, anywhere in any profession, some people are black sheeps, but generally I find that most chartered accountants are ethical. When they sign a balance sheet, they own a balance sheet. There can be interpretation issues. There can be issues of having a very divided opinion on this. But also it also depends. It is not the chartered accountant who runs the company. He can only leave a company. He may not be satisfied. He can qualify a report, but the ethical standard has to be met by the promoters, by the businessmen, by all the stakeholders. So it is very important that all stakeholders maintain ethics, and that is the key to the whole success of everybody. And just even rating agencies have to have ethical standards. Even the board has to have ethical standards. The management will have to have, the KMP will have to have ethical standards. So everybody will have to play a role in keeping the ethics, and of course chartered accountants have a major role in seeing that the ecosystem is ethical.
Absolutely. Very quickly, what is your outlook on the talent that we are seeing towards this profession, and more importantly, retaining them and attracting new as well, because we have a lot of demographic dividend that is still to be reaped? And what is your outlook that this young generation is looking towards when it comes to this profession?
So first of all, let me tell you, very hard to become a chartered accountant. It's not easy. I won't say it's hard, but it's not easy. and there are challenges in becoming a chartered accountant, because the examination percentile is low, and that does discourages a lot of people, because if you don't do anything, then you are neither here nor there. And that is what is a big challenge for all the newcomers or the youngsters who want to do chartered accountancy. Do they have the courage to do it? You should have the courage to do it, and you should have the conviction to do it. And that is why a lot of people in the younger generation, seeing the failures of the past, may not be so encouraged to do it. And also seeing that what especially in the audit line, nobody wants to enter the audit line as much, because there are a lot of other opportunities for chartered accountants. They can do business, they can do startups, they can do compliance, they can do many other things. And insolvency, it's lot on the plate. So the auditing tribe is going to be less, and that is what, out of 92,000 odd firms are there, you just see the how much is the whole, leave the big 6 or 8, you see what is the volume and what is the amount that they are earning out of it. So what I personally feel is, this is my thing, that we will have to encourage more professionals to come to this field, because institute is taking all such measures. Because there's this perception that if you do not qualify, what will happen to their career? So that is one challenge which everybody has.
Dr. Ravi, a lot of talk about technology in the last 1.5 years, especially since the advent of ChatGPT, artificial intelligence. And while the new generation has a lot of embracement towards these technologies, in this profession, how you're seeing the incumbents also adopting these technologies in the profession, in day-to-day operations, if you could shed some light.
So the younger generation has an absolute advantage, because they are born with technology.
Right.
And they are born, in a 3-year-old, a third class child will have an iPhone or a phone, and they know what it is. And we who are on the older side, or who are in the mid age, find technology to be, we have to train ourselves to this technology, but it is inevitable. The development is so fast in artificial intelligence, data mining, coming to even systems, analyzing systems, doing system audit. All this requires technology. You have to have, and institute has done a lot of steps. For example, they have done DISA, which they introduced DISA. So I'm also a qualified DISA. Okay. So what happens is, whatever age, means as long as you're in the profession, you got to learn, and that is the key. And what is happening is, the whole world is changing with so many apps, and with new banks coming in, with technology driven audits coming in, risk based audit coming in. I think technology is going to take it to the next level. Right. And that's what I feel. Every chartered accountancy firm, though it's expensive, let me also tell you, just putting tools together for audit, etc., forensic audit, the tools are expensive. It's not cheap. So I think capacity building in terms of technology and human, and integrating the two, are very important.
Dr. Ravi, one pertinent issue, and that is being in the news for the last, I think, a week or so, is the big 4 firms coming under ICAI's lens for their networking arrangements with international networks. Any view on that, sir?
So my view is very simple. There will be people who will be pro to an issue, and I'm agnostic to it. Why am I agnostic? Because everybody has to keep doing their work, and the institute and the government and all the stakeholders will have to do their work. Because there can be there is a talk of conflict, there can be these issues have to be resolved. See, because what is happening, we are driven by the Companies Act, but suppose, are we integrating the laws with the international laws? Suppose I am conflicted globally and I am doing here, so is there a conflict? So these are affiliations, and all these are an issue of addressing the conflict. I'm not for or against it. What I'm trying to say is, if there is a stipulation that is put to Indian firms and Indian chartered accountants, similar stipulation should be there for everybody. That's clear. So there will be a level playing field, there will be equality of thought, and also equality of governance.
Absolutely. You mentioned in the beginning how about the 7 years of the goods and services tax regime and how there's still scope of improvement. There are people in the profession who are still learning its know-hows. What would be your personal outlook on the reforms that are still needed now that it's around for 7 years?
So there are many reforms that can come in. For example, even what we introduced as RERA, the efficiency of the RERA courts can be improved. I think what is important is disposal. So we have introduced laws. IBC can be a faster resolution. I would like to see more administrative measures being taken to resolve cases faster, and to also bring in more of going away from arbitration to more of dispute resolution, and to resolve disputes, because the cost of resolving disputes is very high. And these are the reforms I would like to see, because, and also I would like to see unified accounting system across everybody, more unified accounting system, which is happening, of course, but I would like to see more of these type of reforms which will actually help, especially for example in RERA and IBC. I would like more administrative changes, faster decisions and quicker resolutions, so that the banks get money, and everybody benefits, all stakeholders benefit.
Right. Sir, my last question to you. In the third week of July, this government will present their full budget for this financial year, and a lot of speculation in this whole month of June around some relaxation with respect to the personal income tax. Any particular expectations or your understanding of if there should be any relief on this front?
So I expect one, and I'm not making any prediction, but I expect that the personal income tax will be certainly raised to 10 lakhs. That's just my assumption, because I think the government would see what difference does it make here, because you have to increase the tax base, and the tax rate has to reduce, because you can't be just loading all the taxes on a particular set of people. So I think that will be one thing that will happen. That's one thing that I will see in the budget. I will see a lot of focus. I see a lot of focus on infrastructure, EV, and also for Viksit Bharat, which is carbon free, methyl free, all these initiatives that are coming in. I will see. I hope and see that there will be something on that. I would like to see something on the housing front, where especially housing below 25 lakhs or something gets a interest benefit of some sorts. These are the things that I foresee, and I think it will touch a lot of people, because and I would like to see little bit push on the manufacturing, so that one gets more jobs, and also we don't take self-employment very seriously. How do we promote more self-employment? Employment is one thing, but how do you promote more self-employment? That is also the key.
Very rightly put, sir, and I really hope that all of the viewers, and especially the middle class who may be listening to sir's expectation on the personal income tax front, will have some relief hearing that, and will surely expect that when the finance minister presents her final budget for this financial year. That was Dr. S. Ravi on the changing role of chartered accountants, auditors, and their role in driving the Indian economy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and sir, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ravi sir and Arjun, for such an interesting panel. Now, next, as we move to our next session, um, I would like to highlight a few facts about the chartered accountants and their significant impact on our economy and society. Number one, historical roots. So, did you know that the profession of chartered accountants dates back in the early 19th century? And the first professional accounting body was established in 1984 in Scotland, known as the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Scotland, ICAS. The next is global influence. Chartered accountants are recognized worldwide for their expertise and professionalism. There are over 1.3 million chartered accountants globally, contributing to the economic stability and growth of various countries. CAs are not limited to traditional accounting roles. They are found in variety of sectors, including finance, banking, consultancy, even in government roles. Their strategic insights are valuable in shaping the business strategies and policies. In today's digital age, CAs are the forefront of technological advancement. They are leveraging tools like AI, blockchain, and data analytics to enhance financial reporting, improve accuracy, and ensure transparency. With that, let me introduce the next panel to you. Our next panel discussion is the Future Ready CA Digital Tools and Global Talent, moderated by Ruhail Amin, Senior Editor at BW Business World. This panel features CA Dr. Rajkumar S. Adukia, partner at Adukia Global Exponential Growth Factory, Mr. Hansraj Chugh, Central Council member of ICAI and founding partner at ASHM and Associates, Mr. B.L. Bajaj, Managing Director of Dynamic Orbits Consultants, Mr. Neeraj Kumar Buddhi Raja, Director and Chief Financial Officer at Omega Siki Mobility. Over to you, Ruhail.
Thank you, Priyanshi. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Uh, and
Yes, you are.
yeah, all right, all right, all right. Thank you so much. And so we have a very
Ruhail,
interesting topic.
I just wanted to let you know, Mr. Hansraj Chugh will be joining, so we can start the panel
Sure,
and then he can join us. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So let me start my first question. I'll come to you, Dr. Adokia. My first question to you is, since this topic is about being future ready, using digital tools and global talent. I just want to know, how is the role of CAs evolving in the context of technological advancements and global economic changes that are happening there out there?
Uh, Thank you. Thank you for the question. See, what I see, the chartered accountants are always futuristic. When we learn our chartered accountancy, we are professional skepticism. That is one quality which we learn, is inquiring attitude. And we take steps in advance, like, we have information system audit, forensic, with all the tools. Now chartered accountants are learning all coding programs, Python, visualization, Power BI. So I feel we are happy with the technological advancement. So we can move to our next, how we can increase top line in every business, that is sales, which will ultimately increase the bottom line. So
Right.
it is happening.
Right.
It is happening.
Right. Right. Okay, let me come to you, Mr. Bajaj. Since we are talking about how market forces are also leading to a lot of changes as far as the CA's role is concerned, what skills and competencies will be most crucial for CAs in the next decade?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the question. First of all, congratulations to all my fellow professionals on the 75th anniversary of the CA profession in this country. So you see, just to your perspective, actually, let's see what has changed. And in last 25, 30 years, whatever has changed, it has changed much faster than what we could imagine. And what has changed actually is the scale of operation. When I started my career, 100 crore revenue was a big revenue. Today, 100 crore profit is considered for a mid-sized company. What has changed is the geographical scale of operation. Till few years back, companies were very much localized. Today, Indian companies have business operations in US and Latin America and Australia, and where not. What has changed is the scale of operation in terms of number of people employed. TCS and Genpact and all, they would employ 500,000 people. What has changed is the nature of business model. So that all has created a lot of complexities in the profession of chartered accountant, be it audit, be it tax, be it advisory. And we as professionals, we need to evolve ourselves with the changing environment. What does that mean? The way the data is captured today is very different from the data used to be captured yesterday. It's no more paper and pencil. It's all cloud computing. It's all on the on the net. Now the way data is stored, so it is no more physical storage. It is all online. It is the way the data is transmitted, the way data is analyzed. What does it mean to us is that we need to develop our skills in data analytics. We need to develop our skills in terms of using different type of softwares, whether it is ERPs or the reporting systems like XBRL and so on. And we need to skill ourselves with different accounting standard globally, because our clients are no more local. They are all global, whether global companies coming to India or Indian companies going global. We need to understand the implications of cyber security, because everything is being transmitted online, and we are all, as professionals, we are always handling very, very sensitive data. So we need to skill ourselves in how to protect data, how to take care of data privacy laws, which are now becoming extremely important, not only in India but more so globally. So these are the skills probably we need to understand on the technology side. On other side, I think for professionals, we need to get exposure on global taxation, global accounting standard, global financial reporting system, and so on so forth. So as profession, we need to evolve with the changing environment around us. That's what probably I would say.
Very well explained, Mr. Bajaj. Absolutely relevant here. And Mr. Buddhi Raja, we're talking about future-ready CAs. Of course, continuous professional development is part of it. What are some of the must-dos for the professionals, especially the CAs, which can make them future-ready according to you?
Yeah, thank you, Rohel. Am I audible to you?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, first of all, a very happy Chartered Accountants Day to everyone. And coming back to the question, see, I have two perspectives on this. The first one is, when we say Chartered Accountants, we use the term CA, okay, right? But the people at large are asking for creative accountants, not Chartered Accountants. So they refer to the term CA as creative accountants. So they want us to be ERP ready. They want us to be artificial intelligence ready. They want us to be machine learning ready. They want a predictive analysis to be done by us. They want tax planning to be done by the CAs. Everybody in the world, whether it is the entrepreneurs, MSME, large corporates, everybody. So they want that the guy who is handling finance, the guy who is known as a financial expert, he should be ready with their expertise on each and every area, whether it comes to the let me use one word. In the maintenance section in any production industry, there are two types of maintenance. One is this creative preventive maintenance and the predictive maintenance, right? So for using the same technology, what is expected out of a chartered accountant is to be a predictive analyst, so that it can create some kind of environment through using some digital tools, using AI or machine learning, so that the planning should be in advance for any business, be it a smaller scale or the larger scale. Like, for example, I was listening to one of the podcast, one very senior professional, he was talking about many companies go into the IBC very soon because of a fund planning failure. So now how a CA can be future ready so that he can create a fund planning sheet for the entrepreneur, any tax planning or any other ways where the cash flow planning or the fund planning can be done through the softwares, the ERPs or some kind of softwares. So the chartered accountants need to learn that, okay, how to create easy softwares, not the complex ones. maybe the artificial intelligence can help, but the learning phase has to be done by the CAs. First is they must learn and then adapt the technologies, adapt the ever-changing environment, and create those kind of environments for the people at large to understand and create this forward.
Right.
So
Right.
I think that's
Right.
what
I think the catch line was how the CA itself, the term has moved from chartered to creative. I mean, that's where the shift is happening. You need to go beyond, above and beyond. And Mr. Chug has joined us. Thank you, Mr. Chug, for
Thank
joining
you very
us.
much.
And we have just finished the first round of questions, and you have come at the right time. I just finished my final question of this round, and let me come to you. Uh, I posed this question earlier as well, but I want to get your views that when we talk of CAs on this 75th anniversary, how big a shift have you seen in terms of the evolution of the role, especially when we are living in times where technology is being used? How big a shift has happened, and where are we? What else needs to be done from here? Just few points from your side.
You see, like the way the
Sorry, sir, your
economy
audio
has
is
grown
breaking.
with
Yeah. Oh,
the
right. Fine,
yeah
fine. It's good. It's good. Yeah.
yeah the earlier CA used to be taking care of just like an auditor and the accountant or the tax front. Now we are a complete business solution provider. Whether it is the technology which we look at, whether we talk about the bringing out the business at a growth level, multiplier impacts is being taken care by the CFOs across the working ends in the corporate worlds. CAs has really been reached to the top level as a CEOs also in many big corporates, multinational corporations also. The the old days CAs and the new days CAs are very much different. Now the full of intellects, full of the mental strength and the management and the organization capabilities, but in every front, whether in the business, venturing into the newer business ideas or acquisitions or the mergers or bringing out something good for any kind of project you talk about, whether the infrastructure or whether it is the industries, and not limiting to those areas, but all across in the government also. You will find the CAs in the civil services, you find the CAs as an industrialist, you will find the CAs sitting there in the parliament also, in the state legislature and the local bodies also. In the time to come, what I can foresee or I can find out, the 75 years glorious journey, the aspiring futures, the bigger of the profession will be contributing for the nation, for the economic development, for bringing out the best of the governance system across the sector, public sector, private sector, government sectors. That will be the capability we at the different level, our CAs are eagerly wants to achieve with. That is my first line with each one of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chug, for sharing your thoughts. And Mr. Adukia, digital has, of course, not left any sector untouched. That is true for the CA, world as well. But tell me, has the digital transformation taken root at a scale which is at par with the global standards in the CA ecosystem, according to you, or are there still any loopholes, any catch-ups to be done still?
See, as a All India elected member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, I travel every nook and corner of the country, from Kanyakumari to Jammu and from Mumbai to Northeast. And what I have seen, our CA has taken a big jump in the technology advancement. See, I call, the law is talked about AI. I called artificial intelligence 3 alphabet, MDD, machine learning, deep learning, and decision. I think CA is already much ahead of AI, our human intelligence, because the decision which we take is at a very deep learning level. So at ICI, we have a digital learning hub. We have gone to the online examinations in few subjects. We have live virtual classes. We have a use of Python and other advanced tool in data analytics, Power BI. So name a tool and a chartered accountant is using it. And we are sharpening our services. The startup entrepreneurs, rendering services in technology side, I'm seeing a lot of CAs even in the coding, programming, because with the knowledge which we have acquired in a chartered accountancy doing is an inquiring. So today CA is in every sphere of business. Let it be a purchase, let it be a production, let it be a setting up of a new factory, let it be a process industry. So I see a very bright future for businesses. CA is one segment who render a service to businesses. So they are adapting, like businesses are undergoing the change. Earlier we have not heard about, big businesses coming to the consumer market. They're selling the vegetables or a product of 100 rupees. Today it is happening. Maximum revenue comes from the retail business.
Right.
So I think all this technology is learned by a chartered accountant, and our training, we have a separate committee now, AI committee, AI in ICAI, and a lot of learning is happening on that. Learning is a continuous process. We call CA equal to triple L, L cube, lifelong learner. Each one of us in our life is a lifelong learner. But CA,
Right.
because of their vocation, they are lifelong learner. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Bajaj, your thoughts on how mature is the use of technology when it comes to the CAs, especially in the Indian context?
So I would see, I'm also a chartered accountant and with 35 years of CA experience. But my profession is slightly different, and we are highly exposed to cross-border businesses. So that makes us to travel and get exposed to different countries, different geographies, and different type of organizations worldwide. So I would slightly differ from Dr. Adhukia. You see, our technological involvement, except for the very large firms, today, if you look at the small size firms and mid size firms, which forms the larger chunk of profession, it is also, it is a very, very basic stage. It is limited to use of ERPs, or it is limited to use of compliance system. But in terms of client engagement, in terms of scaling up of our operation, in terms of globalization of our operations, when we are talking of Indian Big Four, I think lot to be done. When we see the use of technology with overseas finance professionals or chartered accountancy firms, CPAs, or law firms, it's at a very, very different level. I give you one example. Even the basic hardware which is used by a chartered accountancy firm with a, let's say, 5 or 10 partners, the hardware would be very, very basic. And the measures they are taking for from a cyber security point of view or data privacy point of view, that is much need to be done. We are highly exposed to a risk for from any cyber attack or data privacy. I'm afraid a lot of small and mid-sized firms are not equipped to handle that. So that adoption, and we have to esteem the council members here. So I would urge that probably I think we need to sensitize our fellow professionals on that need. And if we use that, then we are all talking about GDC, Global Delivery Centers. Every day you read in newspaper. That's a huge opportunity. We have done a lot. There are thousands of our professionals who are providing service to the global clients, but we can do enormous job there. The world is our market, no more India. Sitting in India, I can provide service to somebody who is located in US or in Czech Republic or in Australia. There is a huge scope provided we adapt to technology, provided we take care of the hardware infrastructure or the cyber security part or the data privacy part. So I think
Right.
something more needs to be done to be at par with our global peers.
Right. Right.
Rural,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yes. Please add.
there is always one can have a different view, but we are on the floor. Every day, practically we spend 80 to 90% time with members. It is like our vocation as a council member. So, BL Bajaj ji, we will perhaps engage more with you. The scenario in your perspective and my perspective, there's a sea change. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Buddhi Raja, AI and machine learning, of course, I mean, AI, of course, has taken a new meaning, with the coming of the latest technology. How can CAs leverage these tools in a more productive way, in a more efficient way, according to you?
See, let's understand what exactly is a CA's role in the business. Number one, what I perceive is the decision making has to happen. Number two, the audits have to happen very frequently, and the results need to be shared to the dashboard to the members. Third is the operational efficiencies of the system has to come into play. Then you have the compliances part. Then you have the advisory services to any external parties or external bodies, right? So when we talk about all these parameters, and of course there are some tax compliances also which we need to talk about. We generally depend upon some or the other software to get some data, to fetch some data, which should give us some kind of a decision making platform, right? So if the data correctness, the data accuracy is there, the decisions will be absolutely pitch perfect. But if there is any ambiguity in the data, then we are done. So my take on this is the artificial intelligence. It has to be used particularly for the software developments where the ERPs has to be so robust, the fraud detection has to be the key parameter for any ERP to plug the issues. See, we have been working with SAP, we have been working with other platforms, but larger community of CAs, if you see today even, I have at least met hundreds of CAs and in their offices. I can see Tally as a software where they used to create the documentation, they used to get the financial statements on the Tally, right? Because they are very comfortable with that. Their entire this staff is also well versed with the Tally. But end of the day, is Tally providing you the entire range of requirements? So tomorrow you will have to travel a milestone to some or the other robust software where AI and machine learning can actually help you out. But for that, CAs will have to learn first. So it is the learning and development of CAs before traveling another milestone for the public at large. So my take is that AI and machine learning is one area where the CAs need to first come upfront, learn it, and then deploy it. Help these software developers to create such kind of robust environment where the decision making can happen faster, but with the accuracy and minimum of frauds.
Right, right. Absolutely. Mr. Chug, your thoughts on this? How do you think CAs can better leverage the technology?
You see, like technology is being developed by some kind of the engagement of the multitasker, multifarious professionals. Many a time for the development of the financial softwares, whether it is the any name you name it, the person behind is the core people are there. One from the technology side, those who understands the coding and the aspects. Other peoples, those who are the from the functional areas. If anything of that nature is being developed, the person behind is a chartered accountant if it relates with the accounting or the financial front or the tax side. Actually,
Right.
if we talk about the technology, technology is a medium by which the outcome comes in. By on the strength of that outcome, some decision process is being undertaken by the industry and some by the different stakeholders if we talk about the tech side or the banking side or the other fronts. Now, if we talk about the team of the chartered accountants, we have a multi-discipline professional accounting firms also with us. Those who have those kind of the integration of the functional aspects as well as the technology aspects. Now, in the time to come, there will be a changes required whatsoever we are today, with we if we want to put ourselves into the growth model, so we have to ultimately involve the technology, robust technology, and the our members have already have started taking steps towards the bringing out the usage of the technology, because technology has become a need or the utmost important if we want to achieve the excellence, whether it is the speed
Right.
to be developed or whether the accuracy in the results or the output has to be achieved with. So without
Right.
technology, no profession nowadays, whether it is the medical profession, whether it is the legal profession, or whether it is the profession of the chartered accountancy, or business has to grow in a faster manner. The faster results can only be achieved by way of the technology only.
Right. So we have around 2 minutes left. So which means I will come to each one of you with final 30-second comments, on a question, a common question. Let me start with you, Mr. Dukia. We spoke about CAs and the global market. How can CAs compete in a global market with increasing cross-border opportunities? 30-second answer.
CAs need to be more proactive and learning continuously.
Right, right, right. Absolutely. Wonderful. Mr. Bajaj.
So you see, I see this globalization and the borderless world. This presents a wonderful opportunity for we as a professionals. I think what we need to do is to leverage on a teamwork, so with
Right,
having a team with a cross-functional skills and also more
right.
collaboration with global peers.
Wonderful, wonderful. Mr. Budhiraja.
Automation. So the routine tasks need to be automated. Otherwise, we'll keep on using that blackboard and the
Getting
slide.
stuck in that. Right. And finally, Mr. Chug, your take on this.
You see, like in every business, there are two aspects. One is the policy framework, which the government, by way of the free trade agreements, if in the service sector, more particularly audit segments, also they are proactive. That's engagement and the power of the chartered accountants fraternity or the chartered accountant firms. That has to be, like rightly said, the automation and the other aspects are required so that we can really touch and bring out globe closer to the Indian Chartered Accountants Fraternity.
Right. Thank you, gentlemen, for keeping it to the time and sharing your insights. And happy Chartered Accountants Day once again to all of you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruhel, for doing this. Thank you, Mr. Kumar, Mr. Adukia, Mr. Bajaj, and Mr. Chuk for your time here today and for interesting insights. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Priyansh.
Moving on to the next session, our final segment highlights a success story that exemplifies the entrepreneurial spirit of CAs. Please welcome Saurav Banerjee, venture capitalist and managing director and founder of MyTake, in conversation with Ms. Noor Fatima Warsia, group editorial director, BW Business World, to discuss a CA's journey to becoming a media entrepreneur and venture capitalist.
In India, CA Day is celebrated as the establishment of the ICAI, and this year the 76th anniversary. I do want to pull you in and get some thoughts on that. Now, you have been slightly more blessed than some of the other people right now. You were able to get like another shot at educating yourself a bit more. Get that passport to go a notch higher. You were able to pivot, but the foundation was very strong. And when you were at Harvard, you got the opportunity to look at how international framework works and to bring that to your own expertise in India. That always helps. Right now, the ICAI is trying to do some of these things even at entry level. They're trying to create these international relationships. They have kind of revisited their co-curriculum. I first want to draw your attention to the code of ethics that has come from the ICAI in light of things like compliance, etc. These challenges are growing. We have new bodies, not new bodies. We have new policies and regulations coming from existing bodies, and there's a lot of scrutiny that's going on. Now, just a quick take from you as an industry stakeholder, as a thought leader. How are you seeing how people are looking at things like compliances in the market right now? Are we doing enough? Are we understanding it enough? Are companies really investing in the right kind of CA or other kind of professionals who can help them with this properly?
Yes, again, I will draw something from my own personal experience. I think the kind of board, I'm going back to the time when I was in my late 20s or mid 20s, and I used to work with these numeraries, Narayan Murthy being one of them, and Vijay Bhaskar Menon, the guy who was behind the dark side of the moon. He was the chairman of EMI, Amal Ganguly. So I think some of these people had this common fabric, and Tarun Das, of course, fabric, which is corporate governance, right? So corporate governance is not just a term, fancy term, or something that you need to get a certification on. I think more than the letter, it is the spirit of corporate governance which is important. There is a very thin line between ambition and greed. There is always, especially for the chartered accountants who are looking at compliances and looking at, closing deals and stuff like that. Sometimes one is confronted with this situation where you could possibly take a shorter route and get things done, but you have to be very, very careful. I think corporate governance in the short run may seem hard. Doing the right thing sometimes can be painful, but in the long run, Noor, it always pays. And I'm telling you this not just because I feel for it, but because there is research done on this, and I can't remember the source, but if I'm not mistaken, I think some Goldman Sachs report, I'll get back to you on the source, but it said that two similar companies, but one with a higher corporate governance can get a valuation as high as 28%. So Mr. Murthy actually laid a lot of stress on corporate governance. And he used to say that, let the bad news take the elevator and good news take the stairs. So it's always like you put in front of all your stakeholders the true picture of what's happening in the company in terms of doing things within the organization. Like I said, it's both letter and spirit, not just complying for the sake of compliance, but you strongly feel that, yes, this is the right way to do the thing. So I think for young chartered accountants who have just got into the industry, keeping this in mind is very important, because we are obviously on a fast track right now. World is changing so fast. Even the adoption of technology is changing so fast. I was looking at some data where it showed that it took Netflix 4.5 years to get 1 million subscribers, and it took 10 years to get 100 million plus. But for OpenAI, in 1 month they did 1 million, and in 2 months they did 100 million, right? So that is how technology is changing, right? And with changing business, the need to govern the business, the need to ensure that things are done in the right spirit and done in the proper way. You saw what happened to the crypto company in America, right? So it's so sad, right? Young kid, bright kid, but just got lost in terms of doing doing things fast, but taking shortcuts, and at the end of the day, so many investors lost money, right? Uh, so yeah, I think corporate governance is something which is very, very important for chartered accountants, because they know the the basics, the granular details in terms of what needs to be done in terms of laws, regulations, accounting, and look at the big frauds. Everything starts from something in terms of cooking books, right? Um, so yeah, I think if you do the right thing, it may be painful, and that thin line between ambition and greed, you have to be very, very careful. It's good to be ambitious, but it's not good to be, from a CFO's perspective, not good to be greedy. It's maybe from a CEO's perspective, you may be greedy to attain certain milestones. That's okay, right? But it has to be really achieved milestones, not just cooked up milestones. And that's where the gatekeeper, the CFO, the chartered accountant, his role becomes very important.
I love you said that. We were attending the Cannes Line festival, and everybody over there was like, anybody in the organization can be creative. And a lot of CEOs were saying, don't say that in front of your chief finance officer. Like they really would not appreciate that as an idea. But coming back to interesting segue to technology, there is so much available right now, and in this profession also, technology and AI especially has helped in taking away some of the the dredge work. I would say the absolute manual work, etc.
Yes.
Now, it would appear that the advent of AI has allowed the hard work to go away in some places, so that the strategic and the thinking work can increase in some places. How does this apply in, if one has to look at it from a CA stroke CFO and whatever role one takes after that angle? How does technology really help in this part?
It helps a lot. I mean, look, technology earlier used to be a separate kind of a department, division. And I think in every division, every sector, technology is the bedrock, right? So technology not only gives you speed, but it also gives you ability to manage, regulate a larger volume of work in a shorter span of time. But technology has both pros and cons, right? We all know that technology can be used in a negative way also. But so far as finances or numbers are concerned, I think technology has played a major role. Look at banks and all that. Look at blockchain. Look at the entire this digital fintech economy or whatever. So and I think India is doing really well. I mean, even if you look at, I think our adoption is better than some of the advanced countries, including America, right? So all this is very important from governance perspective, right? And I think it's important for chartered accountants to be ahead of the game in terms of learning what are the new trends, what are the new changes, what are the new technologies available. I think in our days, and I say in our days when I was the CFO and we had to look at compliances and stuff like that, technology was more of ERP implemented, which every company at some stage does, so that you are able to get more authentic data in a shorter period of time. So that, right? So technology gives you speed, technology gives you compliance. But the other thing which I think technology, you talked about AI, Noor, is very important. Again, when I was making that switch from being a specialized accountant to a business CFO, I think that today things would be much better, because how do you look at numbers? So when you have data from the past, because only when an event or a transaction has happened, you're able to get a number, and then that number can be an MI. Those numbers could be in your MIS or in your balance sheet or profit and loss account. And you look at them, but what you're doing is you're doing a post-mortem analysis, right? Something has happened in the past, and you're looking at that, right? But rather than it being a post-mortem analysis, if those numbers could help you do predictive analysis, what can happen, right? Today, you can verbalize something to an AI machine and it can generate a a video or generate a picture, right? So can you imagine, when things can be done in terms of predictive analysis, and that's what generative AI has done, and that's what it is, bringing a change in how managers look. We have finite amount of time. What is it that we have? What is it that we don't have? We have time and we don't have time, right? So if I am the CEO and I have, say, 10 hours a day, and I'm doing multiple meetings, right? So with AI, I know the AI can tell me that, whether I'm investing my time properly or not. If I'm dealing with a certain company or a certain individual, what are the chances of him coming back or not coming back? What are the chances of a deal happening, not happening? All kinds of things, right? So I think, again, I'm talking about a progression from just a chartered accountant using technology to a business accountant using technology to do business. Yeah, but very, very important role.
Excellent. I have the last couple of things actually to ask you. One is about, and I suppose people like me will ask this question every time, though it is very repetitive, which is about the innovative approach to life. Now, in your case, and especially the multi-transitions that you've seen, and the fact that, born in the media industry, not the easiest industry, and you decided to stay in this industry, all the ventures that came later, while you picked up the VC side and the digital strong tech industry also in a very big way, pure evolution in the correct direction, but media stayed core to you. Now, and the space really thrives on innovation. How do you see yourself bringing or your expertise playing a role in decision making, strategy, etc., ensuring that your innovation is innovative enough, not just for the name of it?
Yeah. So, media is close to my heart. And my VC experience has taught me that the power of content, if fused with technology, can really create a lot of value, right? While media is very sexy, if I may call it, from outside, it's glitter and glamour, but it is a very hard business, right? It is a very hard business, whichever side of media, whether you are a news company or a company like yours, or an entertainment company, every day you have to produce content and attract eyeballs, right? And it's not easy. But there is a power that the media has in terms of ability to influence decision or get mind share of people, right? And I'm talking more of the news side of media right now, and how important that is, and especially during the elections, it plays a big role. So, so I feel that what we are looking at right now is professionally generated content, which is served to the audience. But what technology can do is open this door and make it not only professionally generated content, but also user generated content. I think when that mix happens, right, when technology helps you talk back or give your opinion, which we have seen right today. If you look at the largest media company, is probably Google, or an Amazon. These are the big media companies, and these are the companies. If you look at the top three companies, where Google, Amazon, and Facebook, they get 80% of the ad revenues of the entire the media revenues of the world, right? So roughly about $250 billion is the total revenue, and I think these guys take massive, almost 200. So I think the idea is to fuse technology with content, and yes, and kind of open the doors for user generated content. And also this is kind of giving a voice to the youth. The reason that extra Y is there in my company, my take is MYY take is, I felt that the youth is always used in some ways, right? So they are either voting and electing a government, or they are the workforce working for companies, but really is their voice heard? So, technology can change all that, right? So if we can get these young people the opportunity to, in whichever field, right, to talk back and express their opinion, which is what, say, Twitter is doing, which is what a lot of social media is doing, right? So, but there is so much more that can be done. So this is what I'm looking at. And every project, the sports project was all about that, how to kind of democratize sports. Now, several things that I'm looking at projects, it's all about that, right? Using technology to sort of expand the scope of the media. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Last question is really more about you. It's a personal question. What keeps you motivated? How do you balance from all these things that you're trying to do and keep your own mind creatively fresh or, strong enough? How do you recharge?
Well, I just like learning, and I feel that there is so much to learn, and I've just about started. So I think that is what keeps me going, and also taking risks, because I feel that in life sometimes we regret the things we have not done as opposed to what we have done. So I want to have less regrets, even if that means pivoting several times in my career and not following a straight path. I mean, I could have been a consultant and become a partner in one of the big four companies, or I could have remained in the media and be a CEO of a media company, or I could have been in the VC space, somebody else. But I just wanted to experiment and follow my heart and things that I want to do. So I have less regrets in my life, and that's what keeps me going, really. And people keep asking me about work-life balance, which is kind of cliched these days. And thank God you didn't ask it. But I don't believe in that. It's what you want to do. Like, look, you are there, not in India, and you're working, right? And you love your work, and and you get like 2 days to put together something really big, and you're doing that. So I think that's what it is.
Again, thank you so much. I have to say that the media industry in India is richer because you decided to stay on this path and this course. I would have really said that you have a dream trajectory. And I know that many young CAs will be hearing this and reading your interviews. And your advice to them and your example to them is actually quite the inspirational. So I have to thank you, Mr. Banerjee, for your time, for your advice, and your very, very candid inputs throughout this conversation. Really learned myself a lot from this.
Thank you so much, Noor. You're very kind. God bless you.
Thank you, Noor ma'am and Mr. Banerjee. Now, as we come to the end of our economic drivers webinar, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for joining us today. Your participation and engagement have been invaluable. We had the privilege of hearing from some of the brightest minds and the most esteemed leader of the field. Our speakers have shared their insights on growing roles of chartered accountants in driving stability, navigating global challenges, and building investor confidence. Their expertise and perspectives have undoubtedly enriched our understanding of the CA profession and its vital contribution to our economy. I would like to take this opportunity and thank our esteemed speakers, Dr. Anurag Batra, Chairman, Editor-in-Chief of BW Business World and founder of Exchange for Media, Sethu Ratram Ravi sir, former chairman of Bombay Stock Exchange and founder and managing partner of Ravi Ranjan and Company. Our panelists, CA Dr. Rajkumar S. Adukia, Mr. Hansraj Chug, Mr. B.L. Bajaj, and Mr. Neeraj Kumar Buddhiraja, and Mr. Saurav Banerjee, venture capitalist and MD and founder of MyTake. And our moderators, Ms. Noor Varsia, Arjun Yadav, and Mr. Ruhel Amin. Your contributions have made today's discussion truly insightful and inspiring. Today, as we celebrate Chartered Accountants Day, we have highlighted the pivotal role that CS play in shaping our economic landscape. Their expertise, strategic insights, and unwavering commitment to ethics and integrity are crucial for businesses and individuals alike. As Prime Minister Narendra Modi noted, CS significantly contribute to economic growth and stability, and they are integral to our financial well being. I also want to thank the team of BW Business World for organizing this event and ensuring its success. As we conclude today, let's carry forward Let's carry forward the knowledge we have gained today and continue to support and recognize the vital work of chartered accountants. Thank you once again for being a part of this special day. Have a